Hello guys, this is Brian here with an update video on the Spinal Stimulator. It's really been, I was supposed to make a 6-month update video, but it's really 7 months now because here it is June the 1st. I had mine implanted on October the 26th, 2018. So far still, I'm getting very good results. Still have to take pain medicine every once in a while, but the pain medicine has been a huge reduction in that. However, I am getting a steroid injection in my back next week, next Tuesday actually, well this Tuesday. So, last time I had a steroid injection in my back has been almost a complete year. I think I had my last one sometime in July or August, and then the process was started to get the spinal cord stimulator. So, yeah, you still will have back pain. It's not going to take it 100% away. Now, I went to a school function for a family member, and it really messed up my back, big time. Sciatic nerve pain really bad in my right, and severe lower back pain. You know, I was sitting there for 3 hours, and plus the seats were not very comfortable at all. So next time, I know to bring pain medicine with me next time, or if I ever do anything like that ever again, which I hope I don't. But so far, yeah, a huge reduction in pain medicine. However, for last month, I would say my back has getting stiff, getting up in the mornings. Now you got to remember, the spinal cord stimulator is not going to take away your medical problem. That what it's helping. It's not. At the end of the day, you're I have a herniated disc. So at the end of the day, it's still herniated. So yeah, you may still have to have steroid injections. You may still have to continue taking pain medicine. But still, before implantation, or even before the trial, I was taking pain medicine and muscle relaxers every single day. Afterwards, no. Now, well, for the past month, every other day for the last month because of the pain and stiffness. But prior to this month, maybe 2-3 times a week, if 3 at the very most. So yeah, for me, I saw a reduction in pain medicine, big time reduction, and that was my goal. And so hopefully, a steroid injection that will kind of taper down the reductions, back to 2 or 3 a week. There's been a couple of weeks there and there, no pain medicine whatsoever. So don't assume that the spinal cord stimulator is going to be a 100% cure all, 100% fix all. Don't think you never have to take any kind of pain medicine ever again, or have any kind of steroid injections ever again. It's just there to help you, to have a reduction. I'm very happy with the results. When I saw my doctor last week, the technician, I texted the technician, telling him, hey, I have a follow-up appointment. I want to make a programming change because the severe, the back pain I was, starting to have again. And also, I was having a lot of sciatic nerve pain in my right leg. The left leg, they did enable programming on that when I went, the very first time. But he fixed it so I can have relief in my right leg. He also, because I told the technician, I went to a school function and the seats were very uncomfortable. And he said, I have an idea for you. I know you don't like he said, I know you don't like the pulses, but a lot of people will have the pulses between 5, 10, 15 minutes, up to 20 minutes. And that gets the mind off of the pain and helps them. He said, I can do a profile for you and see if that, give that a try. don't do the pulses where it's so, don't do the pulses where it hurts you or where you feel extremely uncomfortable, but do at at a level that you can tolerate, and see if it will help you. And sure enough, he did enable that, and I have done it a couple of different times, and it helps me. But of course, I don't want to do that for hours on end, obviously, because normally with my profile, I don't feel the pulses. It's silent pulses. Only time I feel the pulses out of normal range is if I sneeze, cough, step on the curb too heavy. If that, you know what I'm talking about. Step on concrete too, because I've done that. I stepped off the curb one time coming out of the department store, and I felt the pulses right then and there. Also, I don't know if I said this in my last video, I did feel the pulses at the dentist's office. I don't know if it's because of the way I was laying in the dentist chair and the electrodes. I think that's what they call them. The little wire, the leads from the device up to your spine. I don't know if when I was laying back in the dentist chair, I don't know if it was pushing against the nerve, putting pressure on the nerve, and it was getting more intense because of that. I forgot to ask the guy that, but I'm sure that's probably why I was feeling the pulses a little bit more than normally, putting pressure. So he enabled the programming to have the relief in the right leg. So I could turn the left leg on, I could turn the right leg on, I could turn both of them on at the same time, and turn them off and just have the back, and then he he enabled the pulses. So therefore, on the pulse one, I don't have to turn the control up very high. It just at like 5, I could start feeling pulses on that particular profile. Normally, in order for me to start to feel the pulses, I do have to turn the strength up between, I would say, 8, 7. Just depends on the particular day too. Also, it depends on if you take nerve medicine like I do, gabapentin. That kind of affects that too. So I can start feeling around 17, 18 to 20. Depends on the particular day. If you're sitting or laying down. So I'm happy with the results. Communication with your rep it's very critical for this process to work. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos, and I don't know how I got 2 of them, but they were buried out there. I mean, they were out. It took me forever to find them. And one person said the spinal cord stimulator did not work for them, and I wondered if that person did communicate that with a rep and make sure they have it on the correct setting, because they can always change the settings. It's never set in stone. So if it's not working for you, don't get mad and give up. You have to be patient with the process. And luckily for me, it did work. It did work for me, pretty fast. But I'm glad I did it. The only regret I have about this was I waited too long to get the process started. I should have done it March of 2018 when I was told about it, instead of lollygag around and do it towards the end of the year. That's the only regret I have. And even once in a while, I wish I had the non-rechargeable implant, because there's been a few times, once or twice, I forgot to charge up and realized, hey, I got charge up. So I have pushed it out nearly to 2 weeks without being charged up. But that towards the end, it's nearly almost dead, and it takes about 4 to 5 to 6 hours to charge up. But you have to make a decision on that. Am I regretful that I didn't choose non-rechargeable? No. My life will go on. Am I sad about it? No. It's just, it's just a thought that crosses your mind every once in a while. But then I remember, well, the rechargeable one lasts longer. So therefore, I don't have to have a procedure done, surgery done in a couple of years. It could be pushed out more. So maybe next time I would choose the non-rechargeable one. It just depends what I would think 5 to 10 years from now. But I'm happy with it. I am happy with the decision I made to get the rechargeable one. Now you really got to think about how is your lifestyle. Do you if a person travels a lot for work or for leisure, and not at home at all, if you travel a lot, you may want to consider get a non-rechargeable implant. If you're on the go constantly and you don't have if you don't have time to sit around and let it charge up. So if you're a busy life, if your lifestyle's busy and you fly a lot and travel all over the damn place, no, I would not recommend for you to get a rechargeable implant, because you do have to sit there and let it charge up. Or you have to wear the little belt and charge up. I mean, do you want to take time out of your schedule to charge up, or if you don't? You just have to think about that. Personally, I don't mind really sitting and charging. My life goes on, So it is pretty good, very good technology that they have nowadays. What else can I say about it? I mean, if you're the type of person, if you're the person who works a 12-hour work shift, and you may want to consider just getting a non-rechargeable implant. It just depends on your particular lifestyle and what you do for a job. You have to think about that. Like I said, if you travel a lot for your job, or if you just travel a lot because you retire, what have you, I would consider getting the non-rechargeable ones versus a rechargeable one. Also, it's something that you don't. Sometimes I'd leave it on the same setting, the same strength. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I turn it down. Sometimes I turn it a little bit higher. It just depends on what kind of activities you're doing, day to day, and things like that. They are designed to be left on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can leave it on when you go to bed. They are designed to do that, obviously. And also, if you are choosing the rechargeable one, you got to remember, you got to put that charging paddle behind your back, so you kind of it takes a couple minutes for you to find it, for it to connect and make sure it's on the charger paddle has to be on the exact spot where the implant is. So it is very picky. It's not like the controller. The controller doesn't have to be very picky. It just has to be in that little area, but the charger has to be exactly on there. So you have to kind of fiddle with it a couple minutes for it to connect right. And that might be a challenge for some people. If you have shoulder problems, arm problems, hand problems, or you're handicapped or disabled in any way like that, you may want to choose a non-rechargeable implant. If you have arthritis in the shoulders, elbows, or hands, you need to think about that too. If you have those kind of problems, I would say choose the non-rechargeable, because you get to move it around in your back, make sure you get on the exact same spot, and then it connects and charges up. So you got to think about, if you have any other kind of health problems, you got to think about that too. Personally, I was able to choose right up for the very minute I was rolled into the operating room. The hospital I went to, they had both on hand. It didn't matter where I chose. I mean, I didn't have to make a decision like a week in advance. I read somewhere that some people had to make that decision like a week in advance so they can order it, but the hospital I went to, they had both on hand. What else? And also, somebody asked me, I'm going to do a video about this, but the time frame on this. It depends on your insurance carrier, and also depends on how fast the insurance company, it depends on how fast the doctor's office works too. I'm going to do a really more detailed video about that to explain that. Somebody did ask me, was the surgery itself painful? Yes and no. I mean, obviously you will have surgical pain, obviously, because, they cut you muscle and skin, obviously. But it really went away pretty fast. I mean, I was really surprised about that. Like I said in my, my other videos, I had carpal tunnel surgery, and elbow surgery. Those were more painful than this was. I mean, you will be sore for a month or 2 months, depending. I mean, obviously you can't get down on the ground and pick up things off the floor, obviously, afterwards, for a long time. You can't, obviously, right after surgery, you not be carrying cases of water in the house or anything like that, obviously. But I'm happy with it, and hopefully you will. You just the key things is be patient with it. You may not get results immediately, obviously. Communication is the very important thing with the rep. You got to tell them if it's working for you or not, because they can do the programming changes. Don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to tell them it's not working. You're not going to be shunned. You're not going to be. They're not going to say, "Hey, you're crazy, you're nuts." They may not have the right program or the setting turned on right. The rep is there to work with you. So don't. I mean, that's their job, is to make it work for you. And I would say if all fails, no matter what they do, it's not working for you. It may be just that particular device manufacturer. I understand there is different ones out there. There are different implants out there that do different things. So that may be the key part right there. But also, I did want to mention this. I don't know if I did this in my last video or not. I think, I understood them correctly, the you gotta think about this too. The non-rechargeable implant is not MRI compatible. Mine is. The rechargeable one is MRI compatible. However, I cannot have an MRI where the exact place where it's implanted. I can have an MRI on my foot, my head, my hands, what have you. But you can't have it where it's implanted. What it means MRI compatible means if it's non-MRI compatible, you cannot have an MRI at all, any part of your body. So you got to think about that too. You guys can say, do you have a medical problem or a medical issue that does require MRI every so often? You got to think about that. MRIs are more, I understand MRIs are more detailed versus a CT scan. Certain things can be picked up, then the other ones can't be picked up. That's all I know about the differences between the two. Another thing, MRIs do take longer than CT scans. So you got to think about that. Do you have a medical condition that does require an MRI once a year or even 2 years, or what have you, and they can't do any other kind of imaging? Then you got to choose the one that's MRI compatible. And then you got to ask the technician as well as the doctor to cover yourself is where it's going to be implanted in the area where you get to have an MRI. When you get to have an MRI, is it too close? Because if it's too close, they won't do it. There's certain, I don't know what the calculations are on that, but like for instance, where my implant is implanted, no MRI whatsoever in that exact area. I can have it up here in the leg, obviously, but not too close to the device itself. But like I said, if it's a non-MRI compatible, you can't have an MRI at all whatsoever. It will either destroy the device, or I don't know what else it could do. I guess it could be ripped out of your body because magnetic fields from the MRI machine. So you got to think about that too. Believe it or not, there's a lot of complicated thinking to go on to deciding the implant. Do you want to know non-rechargeable versus a rechargeable one? And if you travel a lot and you're the person on the go, non-rechargeable. You gotta think about that stuff. Will you have regrets down the road? The tops that you have? I don't think so. I mean, that thought has crossed my mind, but really, now, my life goes on. I'm not sitting here in the corner and crying, oh no, I chose the wrong type of implant. What I'm saying. But the thought has crossed my mind. Well, I wish I don't have to charge up, but then I have the other thought. Well, mine will last longer, so I don't have to pay a whole bunch of money out of pocket next time around. I can push that more down the road. You know what I'm saying? So that's just human nature to have those kind of thoughts. Though I wish I can have the grass is always green on the other side, basically. But I'm happy with it. Also, if you are the type of person that lose things like cell phones and things like that, you may not want to get the rechargeable one. You may want to just do the non-rechargeable. Because the insurance company may not pay for you to have a new controller or pay for it. Well, obviously, I take that back. They might not pay for a new charger. And God knows how much those things cost. They're probably a couple $1,000s. So, if you do have any questions or comments, please post them below.